Hi everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'm featuring one of the cards from the August 2023 monthly class. The class theme was Fun Folds. So for the month of August, we're doing a variety of fun fold cards, and today we're featuring the Little Monkey Bundle. And you'll find this bundle in the annual catalog. It's a lot of fun, the card that we're going to make. And whether you're into cutesy or not, I think this card that we're going to put together will have you wanting this bundle. So let me pull this to the side and show you our card. Of course, we have embellished the envelope, but we have a cascading fun fold card. Just look at that. Isn't that a lot of fun? Now, before I go through the materials that we're using, just want to let you know, if you look in the description of this video, you will find all of the materials as well as the dimensions for cutting and scoring the card. So no need to take notes or write all of those down. I'm not going to be giving you the dimensions, and sometimes I can't rely on my memory, so that's why I like to put them in the description. But we are going to be using a lot of the stamps from the stamp set, and of course the majority of coloring is done with blends, and I will go through the blends that we're going to need in just a moment. As far as the materials for making the card, we are using the Pecan Pie for our card base, and of course this is 4 1/4 by 11, and this has been scored at 3 different areas. So we will have a top area, a middle area, and then our bottom panel, and the bottom panel is the larger of the panels. So we can go ahead and fold these accordion style, because that is how this will be the direction that the card will go. You will also need Lemon Lolly and Basic White, and if you ordered your card kit monthly card class to go, you will have received all of these materials as I'm going over. Of course, you have to stamp and color the images yourself, so you will have received a panel for doing Basic White to do that. You will also have your card base. And then we have 3 pieces of Lemon Lolly, and they are all 3 different sizes, as well as Basic White. So you just need to make sure that you're placing the correct pieces on the panel, particularly the top and bottom, because there's just a 1/4 inch difference in size of those two, and you want to ensure that you're selecting the correct panels. Then we're going to bring in our Best Trio punch, and we're going to use this triangle piece, and we're going to just stamp each of these corners. Let me move this, and we're going to do this on all 3 pieces for the top panel. As you notice, we've only done that on the top panel. We want to make sure we've got this going in the right direction. So there again, use your punch to cut these angles. If you ordered the kit to go, I have already cut these panels, the angles, because I am allowed to punch items to send to you. I'm just not allowed to stamp or color. So now that we have that prepared, we can pull that to the side. And let's bring in the white panels, because that's where we're going to do our stamping. And as I mentioned at the earlier, we're going to be using lots of the stamps in there. So you're going to need all 3 of the monkeys. You're going to need the tree limb, the just swinging by to say hi, the leaves, the vine, and actually I have 2 on this. You only need the small vine, and then the bananas. You'll need 1 peeled and then the full banana. And then you will need the punch. So let's bring in the inks we're going to need. So we're using Memento Black to stamp everything with. And then, as I mentioned, we're using blends. So we're using the Old Olive blend set. We're also using Granny Apple Green. We are using the Daffodil Delight. We're also using the Pecan Pie. We're using the Stampin' Up 900 color. This is one of the neutrals of the blends, and they have changed the names. So I will have this in the description, what you can use to order it by now, right now, as well as we're using the SU 200. And I think they've changed the names to like light, medium light, dark, etc. So I will include those for you. And these are just 2 extras that I have. And then I always like to have on hand a color lifter in case I get a little bit zealous with my coloring. So for the monkey, we're using the dark pecan pie. And as we color, I'll go through exactly what I'm using. So let's start by stamping our monkeys onto our large piece. And you'll need 1 of each. And while we have this particular stamp, of course you could use whichever monkey you want, but I'm using this little guy. Let me pull my envelope and go ahead and stamp our envelope. So we have our envelope. Then our last little monkey here. And then other items that you will need to stamp for cutting are a few of the leaves that look like these are really the banana leaves, I believe, but we will stamp 4 or 5 of these. Then let's stamp some bananas. You need 1 where the banana is peeled. And then you will need 2 or 3 of the whole bananas. So we will need that banana, so I'm holding that banana. We'll set that to the side. Let's now stamp on our panels that go on the card. Let me just move a couple things here so I can see everything that I have. So let's ink up the branch, and as you see on our card sample, I have it going so that the leaves are going toward the left. And I want to leave enough space to add my sentiment. And while we have this one, we want to stamp on the bottom panel, and I'm going to reverse it where the leaves are pointing toward the right. And I'm putting it up closer to the top of this panel so that the monkey can hang down. Plus, I'll be stamping leaves along the bottom. Now you want to take your vine stamp, and we're going to stamp one vine coming off of the tree, and that's where we will stamp a couple of bananas. So we'll bring in the banana stamp and do that. And I missed the edge on that, so I will bring in a marker just to touch that up. Let me find my marker. And the reason I'm not using the blends is because I'm going to color the banana with the blends, and that would smear. So just by using a Stampin' Right marker, I'm able to fill that in. Plus, I'm going to add a banana that we have cut and punched, one of the ones that we punched, so that we'll have one with a little that'll be a little bit higher up. And on my main card, I put bananas at the top, and the reason I did that is, of course, I had a little boo-boo there, so I just filled that in. That's just a tip for you to remember that you can look at different ways to fix those. Now, if you notice on the card, I've done the just swinging by, and then to say hi on the center panel. Well, I've done that by doing a little masking. And the way I like to do this is I like to start and cover my clean ink, my clean stamp, and I'm taking some washi tape, and I'm covering, masking what I don't want to be shown on my paper that I'm stamping. So you'll ink that up. Then let's remove this piece, and now we will stamp. And now we'll do the opposite, but before I do that, I want to clean my stamp. So let me pull in. I'm going to clean it off camera. Make sure I get all of this ink off of that other part, since I will be stamping that. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my washi tape, and I'm covering that up at the top. Now you could do this. I know some people stamp or ink it up and then cover it, but I find this way works just as well. You just have to remember to remove that washi tape and to clean your stamp each time between the maskings. So see, we now have our 2 stamp sentiments, and here I did not ink real well, so there again I'm bringing in my Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just lightly going over those little spaces. A lot of times with my photopolymer stamps, I do use the piercing mat under it. There, that brings that out just a little bit better. So now the fun part is our coloring. I have stamped, I think, all of the pieces we needed. As I said earlier, there were a lot of parts to this that you would be stamping. And now for the coloring. So to color our vine or our tree bark, I'm using 200 and 300. I think I had 900 earlier. 900 is for the monkey face. So we're using 200, which is the dark, and we're just going to go right along the lower edge of our branch. Let's come back in now with the 300. Of course, you could color these branches with a different color. You could use your early espresso or another color. You could make it a gray, as well as the monkey. I've done the monkey as a brown monkey. You could do him as a gray monkey if you wanted. And you notice I just sort of dashed that. I've left a little bit of white just to provide a little bit of shading on that. These monkeys are just really cute. I don't do a lot of cutesy cards, but occasionally I like to make them. And of course my grandchildren love different cards, so when I saw the monkey, I thought it would be great to make a card for them using that. So our leaves for the tree, I'm using the Old Olive, light and dark, and I'm taking the dark and I'm just going along where the middle vein is of the leaves, and then just a little at the base where it would be darker. Then I just take the light and blend that back in. Let me get a better one. That light has been well loved. One tip, when you're using the blends, think of it as a paintbrush, and you're just lightly coloring with it. For the little leaves on the vine, I just did those in the light. I like the pointed end better for that. And we repeat that process on the lower panel so that both of our tree branches are done. Oops, I got outside the line. That's where the color lifter will come in handy. Let me bring that in and go ahead and just pull that color off. I love having an eraser to correct my boo-boos. I wish we had it sometimes for our inks other than just our blends. So now we will start to do some of the other. Let's go ahead and color our bananas, and for these I'm using the Daffodil Delight. I'm taking the dark, and there again, just where the banana would be a little bit darker in color, coloring that. Then I'm going with the light to blend those together and to just bring in the little lighter. We'll do the same over here on these bananas that we will punch. We've got the punch to use for these bananas, but we will have to fussy cut this, the one that has the peel down on it. Let's color these little monkeys now. So you will pull in your Pecan Pie, light and dark, and then the SU 900. You could use the one of the other pastels. Let's see, what color is this one? Yes, you could use the Petal Pink if you wanted for a face, or look at one of the other neutrals, but I liked the look of this with the Pecan Pie. So I'm starting with the dark, and I'm just going over the line around the ear and then the back of the neck where it would be just a little bit darker from the shadow, and at the arms. Of course, with these images you really don't need to worry about doing a lot of shading because they're just sort of bold images, so it's not necessary. Where some other images you have lots of detail that gives you places to highlight more so than on an image such as this. do this little monkey's legs. Do that ear a little bit better. Now to color his face. Now this will, once this ink dries, that face will lighten up. And I have already punched and fussy cut a couple of these, so I'm not going to do all of them. I will do the monkey in the middle. We are going to have to fussy cut him. These two are fussy cut, and this one punches. So we are, I'll go ahead and punch that just to show you how that just lines up. So see, that lines up just so. And you can punch him right out. And you also get have a banana that you can punch, which we'll use that when we punch our banana. But let me just trim this off. And let's get our monkey that we need to fussy cut. So there again, I'm bringing in the dark pecan pie. And I'm just putting a little bit of the dark where I think there would be a little bit of shadowing. Now back to our light. And then once we get all of our pieces prepped, we'll finish with assembling the card, and you'll see how quickly it'll come together once we have everything prepared. But I did tell you we were using a lot of pieces out of that stamp set. I'll be sharing another card in September with you that I have made using this set. I'm going to a Stampin' Up meeting next week, and for my swaps, I made a note card with a monkey that's the swinging monkey, and he actually has some movement to him. So be sure to check back with my post so that you can see how I put that card together. It won't take quite as much time as this one. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've not done so, and also subscribe to my blog. Check out my blog so that you don't miss when I upload new videos or when I post information on my blog. Let me pull that dark back in just to color this one's nose. It's just a little dot there. Now let's go ahead and fussy cut this one. And you'll see these are really easy to cut. There's not a whole lot of detail that you have to go around. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm a little rushed, so I'm not cutting as smooth as I like to do, but that's always easy to do. Go back and just soften that edge a little, like so, and the same up here. So I made sure not to cut his legs off. So now up on his arms to make sure he keeps his left arm. So now we have the monkey for one, and as I mentioned, I have already pre-cut and punched the other three monkeys. So let's do a leaf. Let's go ahead and fussy cut. You'll need to fussy cut this banana, and to save time, I have already fussy cut the banana and I used the punch to punch the two bananas. We stamped 3, but I think 2 will be all you need. I'm only going to do one of the leaves coloring because there again, or I'll do 2. Or I'll do 1. I think we only need 4 of them for the bottom of one of the panels. So for those, I'm using our Granny Apple Green, light and dark. Start with the dark, and I'm using the fine tip in, and I'm coming down that center vein, and then I'm just coloring in every other space with the dark. And it doesn't have to be completely filled because we're going to come back with the Granny Apple Green light and just blend all of that together. And I'm going to do 2 just to make sure I have enough done. And we will fussy cut. These. Of course, these are very easy to cut. They obviously doesn't take near the time that it did to cut the monkeys. We only have one more bit of stamping and coloring to do, and that will go rather quickly as well. So you will notice on the bottom panel here, I have got leaves stamped in the back. So that's where you will pull in this other leaf set. And you'll want your large panel, and we're going to use there again our Memento Black, and we're just going to stamp and vary the height on those. And I'm going to bring in my pad to use, and I'm going to bring a scrap piece of paper to put underneath. No, actually what I'm going to do is I will lift this and slide this under so that my pad is underneath, providing some of the extra cushion that I need when I'm using the photopolymer stamps. And I'm just varying the heights on this and turning them different ways. Some you'll see I'm stamping off. Now I colored this using the old olive, and I took the dark old olive, and I've just right at the base is the only place I put the dark old olive. I can tell by the sound that this is making that the ink is just about depleted this. So I will have to order some more. I use a lot. First, when the blends came out, I wasn't sure about using how much I would use them, but now more and more I find I'm using them on projects, and I really enjoy it. It definitely takes you back to, or it takes me back to my days as a child coloring. I used to love to color. A few of these I got outside the line a little, so bring in my color lifter, and when those dry, that will, you really won't even see that. And of course we're also adding some leaves over those banana leaves that we colored. I'm going to switch to the other end. I have a little bit more control with the pointed end of the blends than with the brush end. Okay, this is all that we have coloring wise. Now we can move on to assembly. So let me clear all of this and get all of our pieces that we're going to need. So let's bring back in our lemon lollies, and we will place the pieces that need to go. Now before we attach this one, let's go ahead and start by placing some of our banana leaves. Some are full, some are same thing, different heights. So, and the reason I want to attach those is because we will trim the bottom edge off, and it's easier to do once it's if it's not attached. So I used our stamping dimensionals to add the banana leaf. And I used a variety. I used the large and the small ones. We'll put this one down a little bit lower. So it looks truly like a jungle. And we'll place this one where it comes up to the side as such. And we'll add one more right through here, and we're going to make that one a tall one as well. So we have the height. And I'm just going to put the very edge off of that to trim. Now, so now we just go in, turn it over, and take your snips and just go along that edge, and that trims those right off and makes them level and even along the bottom. Push all of the pieces out of the way. So now we're ready to attach these panels together, and let me get my green glue. Let's see, this is, sometimes they don't, this one's clogged. I think I need to clean the tip on it. I normally don't like to do long videos, but this card warrants a long video just because of all of the pieces to it, but that's what makes it so cute. It's just really cute. As one of the ladies in the in-person class commented, she goes, "I'm not into cutesy cards, but I just love this card." So it was a lot of fun. So now we can bring in our card base and let's add the panels to it. You'll need to bring in that Best Trio punch again, or you can use a hand punch if you want to punch the area where our ribbon, where your ribbon will go through the top. So we'll bring this in and we're just going to center that. Look roughly centered. That looks like that's about right. And that gives us our area to slide a ribbon through. The last thing we have to do is add the monkeys and a couple bananas, and that is it. So our monkey that is just swinging by, I did use dimensionals to attach the monkeys. Put that tail where it looks like it's looping the, I've got it just a touch too high. Let me just bring it, there we go. Bring that. And then I did take a glue dot. This is optional, and you can put it under the tail just to push that tail so it stays down. And we'll take one of our bananas, and I'm using a mini dimensional on the back of it, or you could take your just a regular dimensional and cut a piece off of it, whichever works best for you. And we'll put the banana so that it protrudes just a little, so we have it. And there again, all of the monkeys are lifted up on the dimensionals. And this monkey is holding our banana that he's eating. So the banana with the peel down on it. Then last but not least is our monkey that is hanging down from the tree. And he has a banana in his hand as well. again, I have him. I'm just going to tilt him a touch more, like so. And just as before, I'm taking a mini glue dot just to hold the tail down. And we'll add the banana to his hand. Then all that's left to do is we will add a few embellishments using the Neutrals embellishment pack and the ribbon. Let me clear some of these other things out of the way so you can see the cards. I have the bordered ribbon, which is in the Pecan Pie, and I just like to slip it through. See if I can get it. Of course, I'm on camera, so it's hard to, doesn't want to go in for me. There it is. We just fold it in half and loop it through. And this does, it will go in your envelope, but I found what I had to do to get it in the envelope is to fold the ribbon down as such, and then it slides in. Then when they pull it out, they will have that. Let's just trim this ends off a little shorter. And I'll bring in the neutrals. And it looks like I have used all of the small in the pecan pie, so I'm going to use the little gold ones. I think those will look good on there. We'll mix them up. You know what, I'm going to move this to the side. I see a little spot there and I don't know. Let me see if it'll erase. If it doesn't, then I will use, oh, it was just a little piece of lint. But sometimes embellishments become necessary because they are our way to hide a little smudge. So now we have completed our little monkey cascading fun fold card. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've enjoyed this, seeing how to make this card. I apologize for the length of the video. I do like to keep them a little bit shorter, but sometimes our projects just require a little bit more instruction and a little bit more detail. And as you see, this card had a lot of pieces to it, but that's what makes it such a fun card. Don't forget to embellish your envelope. And again, this is Margaret Knight. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Please check out my blog at creativestampingwithmargaret.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss a video. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit like if you like this video. And all positive comments are appreciated. Thank you.